Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Natural Cycle. I'm going to do a talk today on why do narcissists really hate empaths. We're out here enjoying some nature, getting the fresh air. So narcissists do not like empaths. Actually, they're going to usually hate them. They're going to be very opposed to empaths. Now, narcissists are they're very saturated in their personality disorders and in the illusion they have been validating that they are superior to the people around them in their own mind anyways. So narcissists are going through their life trying to constantly establish illusions, and inside of that they have a lot of denial, and most importantly they have a complete lack of accountability. Narcissist. And again, that is to facilitate their delusions of grandeur, regulate their emotions in that ideal of theirs being superior. And so they're going to go through and be in a position at all times of regulating this position of narcissistic supremacy. Now, empaths immediately, when they feel empathic towards other people, they themselves create a sense of personal accountability for themselves in the way they behave and the way they act, because they feel for the other entity. And so empaths actually create accountability, which is the opposite of denial. So when a empath creates accountability around a narcissist, they are not going to like that, and they are generally going to hate that and be adverse to that, because accountability ultimately leads us back into objective reality and not into validating an illusion, which the narcissist has to do. And so apathy creates denial, lack of accountability. Empathy creates accountability and a sense of objectivity. Now, narcissists, they can't live in an objective reality because that is something they are opposed to ultimately. And they're not interested in solidifying accountability when they're validating an illusion. So, that's the deal. Empathy creates a situation for the narcissist that they feel very uncomfortable with, and empaths put that into play for them when they are around the narcissist. So, generally, the narcissist is going to go into invalidating not only the empath, but empathy itself, to kind of justify their position as being apathetic. And again, narcissists think of empathy as a weakness. And so they want to show the empath that you're weak, they're strong. And they are diametrically opposed to it, and them, the empath. So apathy breeds denial, lack of accountability, and enmity towards empathy. Empaths don't really see why narcissists are the way they are, and narcissists don't see why empaths are the way they are. And I will go through this story of being raised without the idea of empathy, but obviously still feeling empathy. But I would say that it's not necessarily cultivated much. And I personally had to learn to kind of cultivate empathy through compassion and so on and so forth. So the apathetic person doesn't necessarily even know what empathy is about, is my point. They maybe have never even experienced it. Maybe they've never experienced compassion or empathy or anything like this, any of those feelings, equanimity. Actually, some philosophies talk about that those things do have to be cultivated. They are more articulated expressions of the psyche and the consciousness. Not to say that, people that have those aren't also, dealing with their own problems, obviously. So the personality disorder, this ability in most people to accept that there are greater people around them, the personality disorder, that's really the main component of it. I've talked about that the narcissist is unable and they can't accept that reality. And so the idea becomes more important to the narcissist, and establishing a subjective narrative and basis for reality to keep the idea going and not the real, because the narcissist has to constantly be superior. And so they prefer this gaslit, warped reality. And going into empathy, the more empathy we feel, the more accountable we become, and also the more object and the less subject we become. Empathy does require cultivation, and apathy can be cultivated as well. They're qualities of the consciousness that actually require some type of cultivation. So yeah, the narcissists, they're not like empaths. Empaths may not necessarily dislike narcissists. They may be just very equiposed to them and unaffected. They may even feel sorry for narcissists. So I wanted to get this purple flower field over here if I could, because it is really wild. I don't know what these flowers are, but they're really beautiful. Obviously, a good cure for narcissism is probably empathy and developing compassion. The more empathy and compassion the narcissist develops for themselves, then they will in turn develop that for the external. And the narcissist does hate themselves because they underliningly feel so insecure and inept that it kind of curses them and creates that personality disorder. So when they feel empathy for themselves, it'll help to cure that, when they learn to love and feel compassion for themselves. Okay, so we're almost at 14 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap the video up. This has been a video on why narcissists do not like empathy and empaths. If you like the content, please subscribe. Hit us up on the Cash App or PayPal link if you would like. We appreciate everybody tuning us in. Greatest fans, greatest subscribers, greatest viewers. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Until next time, this is Trail Talk. This is the Natural Cycle. We appreciate you.